The most radioactive man in the world is not a superhero. It is this man, a common worker who would develop symptoms that are out of this world. What happened to him? In 1999, in Tokaimura, Japan, Hisashi Ouchi and a co-worker were preparing fuel for a nuclear reactor. It sounds dangerous, but what the doctors would later do to him would be worse. The process involved pouring enriched uranium powder into a tank of nitric acid. They had done it hundreds of times. However, they made a mistake, and Hisashi would pay the consequences firsthand. The mishandling of the mixture produced a powerful blue flash, filled with neutrons and gamma rays, and Ouchi was directly hit by the radiation. If this were fiction, the Japanese man might have been able to fly or developed laser vision. However, what he would experience later was like a horror film, especially because of what doctors eventually did to him. Every year, we receive a small dose of radiation naturally. To give you an idea, it's equivalent to standing in front of 5 microwaves running at the same time, or getting 3 X-rays. Hisashi, on the contrary, received 17,000 times this annual dose. And the terrible consequences came right after that. Ouchi instantly passed out and his skin showed severe signs of redness. But that would only be the beginning. After the terrible events in Fukushima and Nagasaki, it was logical that the Japanese would be terrified of the word nuclear. So it was decided that Hisashi would receive the best medical treatment they could provide. If they couldn't save him, at least they would keep him alive for as long as possible, but that didn't exactly mean help. Hisashi was the most radioactive man in history, and what he would endure later was basically hell on earth. What horrors did this man have to go through? Hisashi received 60 times more radiation than many victims in the Chernobyl nuclear accident. His skin began to dissolve, and he suffered constant even from his eyes. That pain would be nothing compared to what doctors did to him. Ouchi became a subject of study to see how the human body reacted to high amounts of radiation. So experts worked hard to keep him alive with 10 transfusions a day, bone marrow transplants, and different types of skin grafts. However, far from helping him, Hisashi's treatment would be twice as painful, to the point where he would beg the doctors to let him go. The pain was such that the doctors had to induce a coma so he wouldn't suffer anymore. And after 83 days, Hisashi finally lost his life. A tragedy that should never be repeated, but it is worth remembering. Always be eager to know more.